Hello and welcome to the Unofficial Controller Podcast, your weekly gaming podcast, episode number 259, I'm thinking, with me, George, and this week joined by RGT. Y-fronts to my thong. How's it going?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks.
Or are you thong to my Y-fronts?
Oh, yeah, I'm a thong man, without a doubt.
Right, so I'm Y-front.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, thong to my Y-fronts.
Mm-hmm.
What were the only paints joke last week? I don't imagine anyone's hanging around. Have you had a good week? 7 days in the UCP universe?
Yeah, it's been good. Yeah, the same as I always say. It's been busy, but productive again. I think as a UCP behind the scenes, we've had a very productive week. So, yeah, it's been good.
Excellente. I'm glad you're having a good week. I tried to float the UCP on the stock market, got flatly refused in every single banking convention going. But I'm working on it.
Good.
I think the only question that needs to be asked right now that anyone even cares about is, what are the lottery numbers? No, actually, that's not right. What have you been playing?
Social soccer, but there is a but to this. Got to hang on. Just stop quivering your lip. Just calm down. Got to top players, rank 4. Thought, right, I'm going for the top spot. Number 1 player in the world. I'm going to be that week. And then I just thought, I'm done with it, I think. It just come over me like an epiphany. I'm just done with it. I need to play something else. I can't. I've put 85 hours in this.
That's classic OG Tom, that is. Get 90% of the job done, then go sit down. Yeah,
and because you have to play every day, you need to log in every day. And I thought, I need a break from this. And I needed something completely opposite, right? After you were talking about Valhalla, you talking about open world game, I thought, right, I want something open world. But I want something chill open world.
What? Wow.
So I went on premium and started flicking through, and then the perfect game came up for me to play, and I thought, do you know what? I'll have a bit of that. I didn't actually put that London accent on, but yeah, I'll have a bit of that.
Maybe you should. Why don't you speak like that going forward?
No, because it'd be an insult to people who live in London. I can't do accents.
No one lives in London.
Don't they?
No, they all commute.
Oh, right. But anyway, that game was LEGO City Undercover. And I knew you'd react like this, but
wait, hang on, though. I mean, that game historically was much lauded. It was the Wii U's only way to get a GTA-like experience. I mean, you're plumbing the barrel. But tell me, I've heard many good things about LEGO City Undercover. Any good?
Do you know what? I'm really, really enjoying it. I am really enjoying it. It's got... If you've played Lego games, and I do tend to say if you've played one, you've played them all. You know what the Lego format's going to be. It's tend to be, you go for the level, you collect your Lego bits, you'll find little puzzle tricks, to solve puzzles to then go on to the next bit. They're good in co-op, but they're just reskinned in different, like Jurassic Park or Harry Potter bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Now this has got some of that in it, but it is just... It's got that Lego humour as well. You can't help giggling to the bits in the background, the funny one-liners, the cheesy jokes. It's quite funny.
Is it funnier than the UCP?
Oh, no, nothing's funny in the UCP.
It's funnier than the UCP, isn't
it? Yeah, way funnier. But it's like, they call it Lego City, but San Francisco, you've got the Golden Gate Bridge, you've got Alcatraz, bits and pieces like that. And it is like a Lego Grand Theft, a toned down basic one, but it's the same premise. You can get in any car, you can explore, you can go up into the hills in the countryside, you can do bits and pieces, you can carry on the missions and the story, and they've all got, it's real. It's what I'd call. It's a bit like what there's this big fad at the moment. Cozy games. Top 10 cozy games. I find
You're the king of the cozy game.
no way.
Yes, you are. You've got your foot in Harvestella slippers. You've got your Stardew Valley socks
I
on.
wouldn't say Harvestella's a cozy game. A little bit, I suppose, actually.
It's farming, isn't it? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, a little bit, but it's an RPG as well, so it's not quite.
Is
cozy.
Expeditions a cozy game? Yes. Is Farming Sim a cozy game? Yes.
Yeah, I don't see them.
SnowRunner's not a cozy game.
No, I don't think people would list these as cozy games, but I know where you're coming from. To us, they probably are. But yeah, this is, and I had my day off and I played 3 or 4 hours on this, and I can't wait to get back on and play it again. It's really, really good. Yes.
Can't wait for the Ponces.
I'm playing the PS4 version on PS5. The cutscenes are a bit grainy, but
Did
the
this
actual
come
game
to
is.
PS3 as well?
Do you know what? I don't know. I know it was
it got Wii U.
Yeah, Wii U was that sort of crossover, weren't it? So it was that.
It was, but
it's a bit like the Switch, I suppose. But yeah, I wouldn't be 100% whether it's on PS3. I think you might be right. I think they probably released it on both, but it plays really well. It's good fun. It's not too aimed at a younger audience that is too easy, but there's also little bits that make it a little bit harder, but it's not too hard, if you know what I mean. You can relax. You can collect these super bricks and do these super builds. You can collect you'll see these little question marks and you get your tablet out and you have to go around and find the mystery out. It's all these little extra bits. And I just think it's really well done. It's a shame they haven't never done an Lego City Undercover 2, really.
Must have sold gangbusters, mate.
Well, yes, on loads of platforms, isn't it? I mean, I even looked on CEX because I've got the Wii U copy, I believe. Obviously, I just downloaded this off premium because I have premium. But I think on CEX, I think the Wii U copy was £2, and I think it was about £5 on the PS4. So I mean, that's an affordable game. Yeah, but yeah,
that's a good deal.
That's pretty much what I've been playing. But yeah, been enjoying that. So I don't think you'll hear much more sociable soccer news in the coming weeks. But
you don't think you'll have like a surge as you drop down the titles where you think, oh, actually, I need to get back on there and get us back in the top 3? European playoff going there, mate.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, I really enjoyed it. And for the money, it is a great, great game. 80 hours was quite extensive for me to put in that.
That's obscene.
For that game.
That is dirty, disgusting.
And it didn't feel like I put 80 hours in, but I'd play 3 or 4 matches and think, well, hold on, I'm 3 or 4 matches into the season and I'm already ranked 10th. I can get up here and play a few more. Anyway, I end up playing the 30 games, got 4th. And I thought, I reckon I'm finished top here. Then I thought, well, I need to improve the team a little bit. So I've got a weaker team than the top 3. I need to improve the team a bit, but I thought this is going to take 2 more seasons. That's another 60 matches. And I just thought, I can't do another 60 matches. I need to play something else. I'm going to get sacked from the UCP if every week I turn up saying, oh, we've been playing sociable soccer. I'm ranked them. So I thought, right, knock it on the head.
It's too late. This was the last week.
Oh.
I'll let you off.
Okay, it's my
technicality.
P45 in a post, or?
Well, I thought you were the boss. I don't know why I've just got away with sacking you because I'm just a paid shill, really, these days.
Oh, right. Or maybe your P45.
When you took over the UCP, you did mandate that I had to stay on for a transitionary period.
Yeah, but that was a transitionally unlimited period.
Well, I thought Bristolian Gamer started next week.
But I just thought, you'll go when I tell you could go.
Fine, happy with
Anyway,
that.
Let's get back on track here. We've gone way off piece.
Trips. Yes. What
have you been? What have you been playing? Come on,
sit down, friend.
Valhalla.
There's been a bit of that. Yeah, there has. Nothing really to report. Another county down.
What hours are we in?
Down.
Come on, what hours are we in?
I don't know. I haven't played that much more, but the missions seem to be getting quicker and quicker. So you know you're approaching the end game. I tend to go to a county, and instead of it taking 8 hours, it's suddenly done in 2.
Yeah, you probably OP'd a bit as well, aren't you? As well from
no,
missions. You're not.
No. Every
Oh, right.
time I've gone into a county, I've probably been somewhere between 2 and 10 levels underneath. I don't know how I'm
Wow.
going to do some of the Northern Territories, which are like 290, which is clear 100 above me. I think I'm going to have to go to Asgard, which I did not want to do, go into the spiritual realm to level up in there. I hate it
Hmm.
in there. I detest it. As I've got further in, the gates of hell have opened up as well, which is kind of like a Hades like run that you do. You have your little camp in the sky in this dream world. You've got this camp in the sky and you jump down and you literally go through. It's like Hades. And you get as far as you can, get the loot you can, and get out. But that didn't really appeal to me because it was obviously still marred by the usual Assassin's Creed nonsense. One thing I forgot to mention last week, it's still very much Assassin's Creed because you sneak in a bush and you think, oh yeah, I'm going to come in here like a shadow, just dispose of you all. And you duck down in the first bush, and then you go to leave that bush, and all of a sudden Eivor jumps up and starts trying to climb a tree in front of full view of a whole guard party. They're all
And none of
sat
them
there.
notice.
Oh, they notice, mate.
Oh, did
Yeah.
I?
What's that clown doing? Hey, what are you doing? You shouldn't be here. Obviously, as you're hanging, fighting with the controls, it goes from white to like they're just looking at you to yellow. They're definitely intrigued by you to
And then
red,
red.
and I'm still hanging there like that. I can't get, I can't get down.
Sorry, wrong tree.
I don't know what the buttons are.
Yeah.
You go from feeling like solid snake to feeling like shown you snake in about 2 seconds. It's a little bit embarrassing, to be fair. But I'm still grinding through that. Spoilers for a 500-year-old game. I got to the point where I rescued my brother, but he's been fed with that much drivel. He's gone a bit crazy. It's probably true. It's probably been showed some Mason-like activity. I forget what they're called in there. The Templars, that's it. And it's probably blown his mind. But the other game I've been playing, wait long enough and they will come to you. FS25 got mods landing like rain on a wedding day. And it's starting to feel good. Got a good slew of maps out now.
Have you got them internationals in there yet?
No internationals yet, so I'm making do with case and New Holland equipment, the new gear. I had an old Massey. I like to run the old gear, as you know, in there, and I had like an early '80s Massey, which was a mod. And I thought, no, I'm not just going to use this as the yard, come and go machine. I'm going to start using this. So I thought, well, I know I ain't got a lot of horsepower, but surely it can drag a cultivator around, just slow time in the background while I'm working on the other end of the field, ploughing and whatnot. Anyway, I set this off,
Oh, no.
and this
Sort of
poor old
wheeling down
Massey.
the field.
Well, I did first of all attach it to the cedar, and it just went boop straight up in the air, popped a wheelie immediately. I was like, okay, I can't use that, so I used this cultivator. Well, the cultivator was managing forward progress of 1 mile an hour. That's how under stress this tractor was. And I was like, no, fine, I'll use it. I'll use this at the farm shop for loading up materials onto my vehicles, and then I'll leave it down there as like the forklift, because I normally buy a forklift and leave it in the shop so I can load things easier myself. I thought, oh no, it's got the quickie lift on the pallet forks. I'll leave it down there. I got went and bought a 300k case large tractor. Went down there with a cedar on the back of it, feeling like the boss. Thought, right, now jump in the Massey and load it. Picked up the seed bag, drove up to the cedar, and the seed bag on the max extension of the quickie lift was literally just poking its head up to where it needed to be. I was like, okay, that ain't going to work. So I tried driving at it like a maniac to try and flip the bag over so it would unload. No. So I tried everything. In the end, I sold the Massey, the quickie lift, and the pallet fork, and bought myself a 150 grand telehandler. And then when I had the extension just right, I could just get it over the top of this feeder and empty a bag of seed into it. I started pulling my hair out. So like, what the hell is going on? But it's all part of the fun. But thoroughly enjoying that. Calmston Farm still is the best map in the game. I'm waiting for, I can't remember the name of that one that you and I played on, 17 and 22. That's quite an enjoyable map. But Calmston's come out of nowhere in the late year of the FS22 and got a release on 25 quite early. I'm just waiting for those tractors. But no one came here for that. So we've done that. What's the other thing I've been playing? Calmston, Farming Simulator, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I came in here pumped to tell you about something, and now I've totally forgotten what it was.
Come on, you can remember.
Put me under strain.
So we've ticked off FS.
Oh, of course, I know what it is. I promised. Now, did I talk about this last week, or did I say I need to get onto True Crime Streets of New York, or did last week did I regale?
No, you said you need to get on it.
I've got on it.
Right. Interesting. How is it for a game?
We've spoken off air, but let me pretend that we haven't. It is for a PS2, and Luigi jumped in the comments. Bada Bingster hopped on the DMs in the Discord and started talking to me about it. You know, it is one hell of a good-looking game for PS2. It really is. It's definitely a step above your GTAs in terms of the definitely on the interior of the buildings, the fidelity of the textures and whatnot looks really good. The voice acting is strong. I don't want to go in too hard on the controlling of the person and the controlling of the vehicles because there is a leveling scheme within the game. So obviously at the minute I'm on like 0 rank driving. And I think as I level up within that, the driving will become easier. Because I did notice I kind of went for a slow drive around New York and ended up mowing down about 30 people just because the car was uncontrollable. And I've been doing everything I could to that point to be the good cop. You know, I hadn't killed anybody during an arrest. One of the weird things about the game is that like if you shoot someone, that's bad juju. That's like naughty boy. If they've got a gun, you can shoot them and get away with it. It doesn't affect your karma. But if they have got a knife or just they've got no weapon at all, but they're committing a crime or getting uppity, you're meant to arrest them without using lethal force. So I've done all this. But what I find humorous is non-lethal force involves kicking a man to the ground and then repeatedly kicking him on the floor until his health bar reaches 0, which I would presume would be death. And then you can cuff him. So you cuff a corpse and you get good karma for it. I don't know if he's technically still alive.
I mean, yeah, kicking him till his health bar's gone and then arresting him sounds... Non-lethal force sounds a bit of a stretch.
It's a video game.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some that will submit and then you can just cuff them while they're stood up. But if you get involved in a fracas with these guys, you have to beat them on the ground. And the worst thing is you knock them to the ground and they stay down, but you can't cuff them. So you have to kick them in the body on the ground to erode the last pixels of their health bar to the point in which I would concur they were dead. Because if I use the same logic when I shoot someone, they die when their health bar reaches 0, but these guys become cuffable when their health bar reaches 0.
I would imagine they're very cuffable when their health bar reaches 0.
But apparently they're alive. So, you know, and I've got so much good karma that mowing down 30 people on Times Square was forgivable.
I love game tropes.
So yeah, I'm enjoying that. I'm quite looking forward to getting.
Yeah, you've got me intrigued. You know, obviously a lot of my stuff's in storage at the minute, and I keep thinking,
just buy it again. Send me the manual because I need a manual for mine.
Yeah, but I've got to dig the console out to play it on. So
nah, just buy the game and look at the back. Watch a YouTube video like OG Tom does.
Right, that's my homework for this week.
I hope you're listening, OG Tom. I love you, really. You know I do. But that's it. So yeah, I'd thoroughly recommend. Again, I did find it one of the more elusive PS2 games. You're not going to wander into watch everyone wander into CX on Saturday and pick it out, right? But I don't think you're going to wander to CX and find this. You find True Crime Streets of LA, but New York it is. To me, it's been a bit elusive. Finally got one, but it was manualless, and now I like it that much. You want the manual? I'm a weirdo. I know. Gaming, gamers, game collecting. That's what you do. Yeah,
I find it intriguing. Yeah, I do.
Well, I'm thinking about busting the PS2 Slim out, having a weekend at Rachel's, and just sort of slobbing around in my pants playing that. You know, take it as my only game, my only console, and then I'll be forced to play True Crime Streets and nothing else. I've also, before we get into the news, I stumbled across a YouTube video of a guy who said, I'm only going to play PSP for 30 days straight. I'm not going to watch any streaming services. The only things I'm going to watch are UMD movies, and the only
Okay.
games I'm going to play are my physical collection of UMD games. To me, it seems like this guy had a blast. I think he said like day 20 was a bit like, oh God, another 10 days of this. But up until that point, he was having the time of his life. You know, listed off the UMDs he'd watched. He listed off the games he'd been playing. There's a bit of MLB The Show in there. So I was immediately like, hello, friend.
That's an interesting way of doing things.
Yeah, and I was
I find
wondering
that quite
about,
intriguing.
yeah, setting myself a challenge of like, okay, I mean, I've got a few games I want to square away, and no doubt before they get squared away, we'll get a slew of new games to talk about and play through. But listen to me complaining. It's hard life, isn't it, podcasting? But I hope to have some spare time in the spring where I can dedicate to just only USP, PSP, not its unique selling points, the PSP, and just having. I think a month would be a long time, but I think a couple of weeks of like, I don't know if I can commit to not watching Netflix though, because you know your better half puts the TV on.
I'm quite intrigued by doing that as well. You know, maybe I could do it with something different, like 3DS or something. Or
Yeah, I mean, I'm up for it, and maybe we can involve the community in it as well. We call it like gaming Lent, do it around Easter or something, where you got to go and pull out one of your old. The joy of the PSP to me, though, I was like, right, well, that can do movies, so that's a bonus, and it can play games, so that's awesome.
Great little bit of kit.
You can put a bit of music on it if you fancy it, but I don't want to preclude myself from using my phone for music. I'm really in the depths, aren't I? What am I uploading to that? Jay-Z versus Linkin Park on loop on my PSP. No, thank
I got that holder for mine with the suction cup and the like Dr. Octopus leg that comes off it, so I can stick it on my bedside table and watch a movie about an inch from my face that looks like a 1980s VR headset.
Wow. With all the ghosting artifacts that the PSP screen gives you.
Yes, yeah, without a
Looks
doubt.
banging in the dark though. If you were like a
It's a
young
great little
kid
bit of kit.
when you're growing up, or you did hotels at the time, and I'm talking 2005, 2006, 2007, the PSP must have felt like the hottest ticket in tech. Incredible, really, if you think about it. And so yeah, I think maybe gaming Lent we should. Last to the party. It sounds if Scotty doesn't hurry up back, he's going to end up playing OG Game Boy or worse. Pocket. What are those little Game and Watch? One Game and Watch for
2
30
weeks.
days. No, you have to do it for 30 days. 30 days solid.
One Game and Watch. And no Netflix.
And no Netflix, no. I don't know what the equivalent would be. Maybe read a comic.
CFAX.
CFAX. I miss you, Bamboozle. They had a really great, on the Channel 4 CFAX, they had a really great video game page called Digitizer. Do you remember that?
Digitizer, yeah, he's Mr. Biffo. He's on YouTube, Digitizer 2000.
I knew you'd be somehow sexually involved with this chap.
Oh no, I just watch his show. Yeah,
That's sexual involvement in my eyes.
He was a scriptwriter, weren't he? For a while, he went on and writ. Can you remember that? I'll tell you, I'm going off.
He didn't write it.
He wrote it.
He did. Writ.
I'm from Suffolk.
You're a professional podcaster now.
Professional podcaster, yeah, whatever. Yeah, he did. He went into movies now. Can you remember that dog that won Britain's Got Talent? And they done a movie with the dog, didn't they? The trick dog. Do you remember? Pudsey or someone?
Mate, if this happened on any of the mainstream terrestrial channels within the last 10 years, I have absolutely no idea.
Well, anyway, he wrote the script for that. I think he was a bit of a script writer, and then I think he bought the rights to Digitizer back, and then he does his YouTube channel with Paul and a few others going. I think Ashens has been on there before and that, and yeah, Digitizer.
I was saying that he got a tight with Ashens.
Yeah,
as far as he does.
They go around and do live shows as well in their sort of weird 90s humour, which is quite funny, and yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's good.
Do we need to get him on here?
Oh, Mr. Biffo?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be good fun to have on here, I think. Yeah, it'd be good fun.
See what you can do.
Right, leave it with me.
Another hero that you can meet.
Ticking them off.
Guess what? Shuhei's in the news again. And on that note, it's time for the news. We've scoured the very darkest regions of the internet to bring you the latest stories. First up, now this one has me literally salivating. Grabbed this just seconds before going on air from our friends at Push Square. Now, Boba going brown. Just lift up the night vision for a second, friend, because there's something there that's going to make your dreams come true. So before you dial 0, you just sit down.
I don't even know what this is, so I'm quite intrigued by it.
Terminator 2D No Fate looks like a modern-day Mega Drive game for PS5 and PS4 with the subtitle, "This will blow your mind." I advise everyone jump to YouTube and Google Terminator 2D No Fate trailer, because where the heck did this come from? Reef Entertainment has announced Terminator 2D No Fate, a modern Mega Drive-style side-scrolling shooter based on the iconic 1991 movie. And let me tell you as well, pixel art in this is a love letter to 1992 Amiga paint shop. I tell you, it looks banging. The art style and gameplay very much reminds us of the classic RoboCop versus Terminator game from 1993. Which we played on a Sega's aforementioned system, but also available on Super Nintendo, Master System, Game Gear, and even Game Boy. Get on the internet, RGT, while I finish up here, so then we can talk about what you've seen. Obviously, the presentation here is not limited by 16-bit consoles, and while it's reminiscent of that classic retro look, it does things that simply would have not been possible on those old devices. Honestly, it looks incredible. Even more impressive is you'll be able to play as Sarah Connor, John Connor, and T-800. The press release mentions there'll be multiple endings and game modes, so you have plenty of reason to replay this. Bitmap Bureau is developing this, the UK-based team behind top-notch 16-bit inspired titles like Xeno Crisis and Final Vendetta. The game's due out on the 5th of September for both PS5, PS4, and Xbox, from what I'm aware, and has shot straight to the top of our most wanted list. What a pleasure. On the Push Square, they also detail some of the collector's editions you can get. So Boba Loba is going deep brown. He's going to get the day one edition, the exclusive online edition. He's going to get the collector's edition. Either which way, the perfect accompaniment to the DVD silver tin that's now rusting on most people's shelves. RGT, have you been in a position to now have absorbed all of this information?
Oh, I like the look of this. I've just had a quick look.
How good is that?
Oh, yeah, I like that.
So I spot a breaking news, but let me tell you, wow. If you're not familiar with this, imagine those classic Amiga games. I think it's a step above a Mega Drive game, if I'm honest, but certainly Super Nintendo, Amiga level of production quality in the graphics.
Yeah, it's got that sort of really sort of high-res 16-bit, isn't it?
Hand-drawn pixel art, but to another standard. There's bits in there, if you are driving, I'll summarise the trailer. It's a side-scrolling game, but, some of the highlights were watching the truck come off and into the rain catcher, and you see a 16-bit T-800 Arnie pick up John Connor and stick him on his bike. Then you've got a shooting level behind.
Almost looked a bit like a twin stick, the way they were aiming the gun.
Yeah,
the right analog.
The side-scrolling sections, it almost, looks like one of those 16-bit point-and-click adventures. You saw Sarah Connor working out in her room with the bed tipped upside down, doing the pull-ups, and it's like, wow, the level of detail that's gone into this to set it up. It's got that kind of sniff of Super Star Wars on the SNES about it, in terms of the graphic presentation.
That's a good comparison. I was trying to think the animation of the characters, what that reminded me of. And you are bang on. That is very like Super Star Wars on the Super Nintendo, the way
Hopefully
they run.
It's not as hard as Super Star Wars.
No, that's brutal, but yeah.
It's savage. That was one of the games that as a child made me bite my dog bone SNES controller.
The one with the 2 canine marks at the top.
2 canine marks, clean in it. Yeah, that's the one. And Super Star Wars was it and its sequels were responsible for me ingesting more microplastic before we even knew what microplastics were than one could imagine. So I am literally blown away by that.
So did you say this was Reef Entertainment? Did you say someone did? So I recognise that name.
Bitmap Bureau and
Bitmap Bureau.
Reef Entertainment has announced the game.
Because Bitmap done like Xeno Crisis and that, didn't they?
Bitmap Bureau developing it, so then Reef Entertainment producing it.
They've done a lot of these older games, haven't they, on or newer games on older systems as well, and they've brought them to a lot of different systems, and a lot of their games are really good. Bitmap Bureau, so yeah, I would imagine this will be decent and it's licensed as well, which is amazing.
The thing that made me smile was it came up with a continue screen right at the end of the video, and there's this really great hand drawn pixel art thumb from Arnie, and if you collect yes, the thumb comes up as it sinks down into the molten
brilliant.
metal. I mean, this is still some months away from release, and they've nailed every high point to me. Even if this came out and all I did was buy it and look at it, I think I'd feel pleased. But if there's a playable game under this work,
is it going to be a physical or?
Yeah, if pop on to Push Square, I think Pure Xbox had it as breaking news as well, and they also list the physical editions that you get with the collectibles that come in the tin. So yeah, that's Boba Loba. You can go brown again now, friend, and go about your business.
Yeah, that sounds brilliant. I like the sound of that, and I think that's nice going back. I know we've had like RoboCop games and bits and pieces, but going back to these 80s and 90s films and tie-ins,
like full circle, because we got Streets of Rage 4, we got the Cowabunga collection, we got the
true
Turtles. What was it called? I bloody love it.
Shredder's Revenge.
Shredder's Revenge. That's it. You saved me from a community correction. Thank you. Thank you. And, you know, it fits straight into that kind of hallmark of almost lost media, where it looks like it was a game that was meant to come out but never did. Streets of Rage 4, the Turtles that we got most recently that I've already forgotten the name of again, Shredder's Revenge, Streets of Rage 4. It's all kind of blending into that look and that iconic, but this one kind of has the artwork in that to me was more reminiscent of one of the 16-bit home computers, the ST or the Amiga. You know, they had those really beautiful hand-drawn,
more colours and more
colours.
Yeah,
so it's oozing. Oh God! Like,
these sort of games remind me of. They are like rose-tinted glasses games. This is how we remember these games. Look at the originals. The only way
you could get more nostalgic and more of a 90s vibe is if you injected John Fashanu
on Games Master.
No, wasn't he the Gladiators guy?
Yeah, he was, but he also played a game on Games Master as well in one of the competitions.
So free base Fashanu and inject him. That's the only way you get in this 90s while watching Baywatch and
or plug your PS5 into a CRT.
That's going to get you 60% of the way there. You're still going to have to cook up a bit of Fashanu. A wooga. Doesn't get any more 90s than that in the UK.
Wasn't that Chris Akabusi?
Now, we're in very dangerous, what I would call territory here, because I don't think it takes a scientist to work out that we're two white men. And we're describing quite possibly a black gentleman that we may have confused with another black gentleman. I would say we should move on with this next bit of news before one of us says John Barnes. Over on
Nintendo Life, we've got a story coming out. Well, it's come out today, I believe. Yes, it is come out today. Random, it says, send out the invites. Shuhei Yoshida wants to take a trip to Nintendo HQ.
We can't have UCP news without having a bit of Shuhei in it, can we?
No. And providing you've done the news, that was inevitable he's going to be in there.
Friend of the show. I'm determined that one day he will acknowledge us.
Probably with a lawsuit, but
he's
that's
met
acknowledgement.
Us in person, so why does he keep blanking us? Like, I mean, that probably explains a lot.
Yeah. And the way he met us would answer a lot of questions. I mean, we're probably being watched so we don't go nowhere near him. Well, actually, you, not me. I was a bit more contained. Anyway, back to the story.
Yes.
Oh, gosh. We sure have heard a lot from former PlayStation boss Shuhei Yoshida in recent weeks. Since leaving Sony, the PS vet has been pretty candid in discussing his career interests and just about anything else you might want to know. And he wants an invite to Nintendo HQ. Thanks for the heads up, Push Square. There we go, back to Push Square again. Okay, that makes it sound a little more demandy than it actually is. In a recent interview with Japanese publication gamer.ne.jp, Via Google Translate, Yoshida confessed that he has never been to Nintendo HQ, saying that he would like to visit someday. As industry competitors in the past, it makes sense that the Big N might not have been rolling out the red carpet for Yoshida and co. to enter the House of Mario. But now that he's left his post, it's fair game, right? As it turns out, Yoshida never really saw two companies as rivals when he was head of the PS team, and even had a good friendship with Nintendo's Yusuke Sojima. The pair shared the desire to promote and popularize indie games. Yoshida told the Japanese outlet, so the label of rival companies never crossed his mind, apparently. It's yet another sweet little nugget from the ex-PS boss who, in podcast appearances so far, has opened up about his disappointments with the Switch 2 reveal, teased us all by talking about playing the SNES PlayStation, and has been pretty open about his takes on the industry. What is he going to come out with next? Wow.
Well, the big news is that he's going to be announcing his role as a rotating host on the UCP for the months of July to December.
Is he really?
Well, if he answers the email, it's laid bare for him. We're ready.
Did you put on the bottom of the email, if we don't hear a reply, then that means you're going to be doing it?
I did.
Yeah, no, that's what I thought. Yeah. So you've heard nothing, and you're presuming he's on the show. He might well do. I mean, he's.
What's wrong with my logic at this point?
No, as far as on George logic, he's part of the team.
I've already got him a mug. BioWare
and a T-shirt.
Next bit of news. I found this particularly interesting. A little snippet from BioWare. Dug this little gem up over on Pure Xbox. BioWare co-founder recalls moronic Xbox advice that potentially ruined a franchise. Wow. This is a story penned by Fraser Gilbert yesterday. Jade Empire, before I weigh in, do you know much about that game? You got it in your hoard of Xbox plastic tat or no?
I have got it, but I haven't played it. But it was quite recommended to me by a few people.
A great game. I say that I haven't touched it since it came out, but I had it original Xbox at launch. But the story goes, back in the days of the original Xbox, BioWare treated us to an Xbox exclusive in the form of Jade Empire, but it ended up releasing just a few months before the 360, and that may have ultimately prevented it from getting a sequel. That's what BioWare co-founder Greg Seshuk believes, at least, telling the My Perfect Console pod. Oh, hang on a minute.
Come on, fella.
No. We're the UCP, Unofficial Controller Podcast, and there's some cats out there called My Perfect Console. We've been talking for a while in Discord about finding the show's podcast nemesis, MCP versus UCP. Yeah, I can see this. Anyway, Games Radar picked up the story. So this has done the rounds. Yet we're going to give the journalistic props to Pure Xbox. I don't know why. That Xbox was responsible for dishing out absolutely moronic advice to release Jade Empire at the end of the OG generation rather than waiting to make it a 360 launch title. Here's a bit of what he had to say. Microsoft was like, no, you should release it now, right at the end of the cycle, because it's a great time. It was the worst advice, absolutely moronic advice from them and the stupidest thing ever. Ultimately, Zeshuk believes that his team could have amped it up and got the game ready for the 360 instead, suggesting that it would have been a way more successful product at the beginning of the cycle than the end. This is obviously not what happened, and even though Jade Empire proved popular with fans, it didn't do well enough to spark a sequel. At least it's still playable today, though. It's backwards compatible on modern consoles, so dust off your Series X and slap it in if you haven't. Now, RGT, what do you make of that news? Because Jade Empire, without any shadow of a doubt, had what I would call a good news story of being the next BioWare game after Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2, which went down gangbusters if you think about it in the original Xbox era. The sequel to that ended up being, well, the pseudo-sequel in a way, same engine, similar stuff going on in the background. Was Jade Empire a mythical Chinese-based game, I believe, from memory. where you went around as the aforementioned. I think her name might have been Jade. So it's rather than those, to be fair. Maybe not. Community corrections on a game I haven't played in over 20 years. But yeah, I remember it being equally as good as Knights of the Old Republic, feeling very rewarded, having bounced onto that as well. It gave me something to play on the OG Xbox as it aged out and we moved to the 360, which I picked up on launch. I remember the last game I played on OG Xbox was Gun, and it was absolutely great on there. But I suppose the root of this question is, would it have done better if they'd actually pushed for it to be on 360? Because you can imagine Jade Empire, BioWare, that's big news.
Yeah.
Add into that next-gen shiny textures, and you've got yourself what I would call a system seller.
Yeah, I mean, nowadays that's quite a popular thing to do, to re-release a game on a newer system. You know, especially one that people loved and thought, oh yeah, I'll play that again. I can play it with better graphics, bits and pieces. So yeah, I can understand that, and also it's because I mean that was a standalone game, wasn't it? They never did do a sequel, did they, to Jade Empire?
No, Jade Empire never got a sequel.
And when I first started collecting for the OG Xbox, I was trying to pick up the exclusives, and it amazed me how many exclusives are on that system and are really good games. And yet, you've never heard from them again.
Show favourite, Blinks. At least Blinks got a sequel, though.
Yeah. I mean, I've got 2 or 3, at least 2 lined up as hidden gems for the OG Xbox, which I'd never heard of and played them and thought, why did this not get it? It's such a good game. There's so many good games. But anyway, I think it could have. There's always something about getting a game that someone's loved on a previous system and remastering it. Obviously, at the moment, we're getting remasters from Sony coming out of our ears at the moment.
This is like another level beyond that. I mean, they were forced to almost go out to die. They were sent over the top for no apparent reason. Now, as an OG Xbox user in that moment, I was very grateful that it came out. There's a lot of the magazines were hyping it. It finally dropped. It was good as he said. You know, thoroughly enjoyable. Was a bit of a looker as well, because obviously Knights of the Republic, a lot of the time, it's dark or the environments are very washed out. Having played through at least 70% of Knights of the Republic 1 on Switch recently, she's looking tired, but Jade Empire still looks fresh. Do you think it was the fact that it was them trying to launch their own gig in a way with Jade Empire, that, you know, Star Wars is a different thing. You'll get people turn up from across the globe because you're launching a new Star Wars Tippy Cup. But those same people aren't going to turn up for Jade Empire no matter how much they love Knights of the Old Republic, because it's not got lightsabers in it.
That's not that. It's a new thing. It's not got that license link. It's not got that history to it. So I suppose, you're right. It is a new thing. I mean, it's still one I've got to play, so it sort of intrigued me to play, get on and play that. But
they're kind of weird in a way, because they're turn-based, but they're not turn-based. You know, that Knights of the Old Republic shtick where you kind of just sort of spinning your sabres in the air and hoping that it hits something.
Yeah.
And really, there's nothing you can do, because in the background, much like I think Morrowind had a similar gameplay style, it shows you animating you swinging the sword, but literally a dice roll in the background. You can clock, in Morrowind especially, you can clock the guy clean round the head and it scores 0 damage. Obviously, they fixed that for Oblivion. They kind of toned it down and made sure every shot did damage regardless. I think even if it was just one, you felt like you were actually chipping the guy down a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the original Knights of the Republic of Morrowind especially, you could be flailing the weapon around, make contact with him, everything. Nothing. Not even a scratch.
Yeah, it's always a weird way of doing that in that combat in games. It is a strange one.
I think both of those games might have benefited from not being dice roll jobs, to be honest, because the Knights of the Republic is going to bring in what I would say a mainstream audience that probably are not very appreciative of that hit.
Yeah, sort of mainstream game with a bit of a hardcore gamer elements to it.
Yeah, but then again, saying that, was Star Wars even in the mainstream? I suppose the prequels are out. So, but Star Wars had like a dark time between Jedi and then obviously the prequels.
Mm.
I mean, could it be that? Did they think maybe only the hardcore will turn up, so we'll give them something hardcore, set
Yeah,
4,000 years
maybe.
before Phantom Menace? But
Yeah.
then what about Jade Empire? What were they thinking there?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they'd obviously had success and thought, well, let's do a fresh new story, no license. Let's go in and do a game. And like you say, you enjoyed it. A lot of people, everyone I spoke to who's played it said, "Oh, if you got when I first got the OG Xbox, people said you got to get Jade Empire."
Oh, proper hidden gem in that
Mm,
regard. Yeah, I think in terms of the Xbox top five of exclusives, OG, obviously, I think for me, Halo 1 surmounts Halo 2, but let's lob Halo 2 up there because it was the poster child. You got to lob PGR2 in there as well, because for
mm,
me, that's a game that they've just abandoned. I know there's licenses and
mm,
whatnot, but make it backwards compatible, guys. Why not? It's your best driving game.
yeah,
You've blown it. Um,
almost abandoned that and then sort of replaced it with Forza Motorsport, didn't they? And
Replaced it with Forza Horizons.
mm, yeah,
Forza Motorsport is still your sim. PGR always had that kind of. There was a while where PGR and Forza operated alongside each other as stablemates, Scuderia.
mm,
Um, yeah. And then what else am I going to lob in there? Jade Empire, probably.
mm,
And
yeah.
maybe. I know this is a bit controversial, but I've always had a love relationship with Grabbed by the Ghoulies by Rare. I think that's worth.
That's another one I've got. And I'll tell you what, I never realised Rare done that.
It's. To be honest, mate, it took a kicking at the time.
Mm,
I think everyone was expecting them to turn up with another Banjo Kazooie, Donkey Kong 64, Jet Force
yeah.
Gemini, but they took the
Mm,
time to do a palate cleanser, not forgetting that in between the N64 GameCube days and the OG Xbox, Rare became a totally different business.
oh, yeah, yeah.
So Xbox acquired the name and the
Yeah,
rights to the franchises, some of them,
mm.
but they didn't
Yeah,
get.
they were more Rare just in name at the time, weren't they? They were.
Yeah, but Grab by the Ghoulies is a. I'm not saying it's the best game ever. I wouldn't even dare say such a. Even I wouldn't dare say
Mm.
such a shocking thing. But Grab by the Ghoulies is definitely in contention for a hidden gem. If you've got that and you've not
Yeah, I've
played
got
it,
that. Yeah, I bought it just because it looked intriguing. I bought it, and I honestly didn't even notice Rare had made it. But I bought that was cheap as well. I mean, a lot of these Xbox exclusives they're cheap
they
games and
are.
good game. But I bought it just because I liked the cover and thought I've never heard of this. It almost looks like sort of a haunted house sort of thing.
And it's literally that, and it's dead fun. It's silly. It's not scary in any way, unless maybe there's the odd jump scare in it. But I don't really recall that. You kind of walking around this mansion trying to get keys to get into the next room. It's definitely got shades of a classic Rare game
Mm,
about it, but it's
yeah.
also got shades of being on a new platform with a lot more storage capacity. It's got shades of them kind of running a little bit with a meaty bit of hardware. So some of the visual elements, I remember the lighting being cool in the levels, and generally just a fun chuck about game.
Mm,
It was never going to be 10 out of 10 best game ever, and I know we're all guilty of, especially in the past, waiting for a magazine review to come out. Scores less than a 7. Done. It's in the bin. It's bargain bin. Cancelling the
mm,
pre-order the lot. So yeah, and now obviously we're more mature. We realise 7 is actually a fair score.
mm,
And I think a lot of maybe the gaming sites and what's left of the magazines, if there are any, had a realignment in terms of a 9 or a 10 is like a genre defining piece of kit. In a way, to give a game a 10, which I think there's a few games out there across history that do deserve a 10 because they were just that iconic tentpole
mm.
moment. They
Yeah,
had flaws for sure,
I
but they
think
were
it's yeah,
doing
and that's
enough where it was like, yeah, forget the flaws, regardless of the flaws, and we'll mention them here. It's got this problem, this problem, this problem. This is still a 10
yeah because
because
it's
it's
and
changing
it's
direction of gaming.
yeah, exactly. You look at like Grand Theft Auto 3 and things like that. 3D. Although that wasn't the first 3D world, it they'd tried doing something different, and suddenly you just like actually this open world. This is how you do it. And it was defining a whole genre. So
Totally
mm,
agree. Uncharted 2, maybe up in that territory. I don't quite think it deserves a 10. Last of Us 1 on PS3. I think that could qualify for a 10. Zelda Ocarina
as your PS3 didn't melt while a fan was going in overtime.
As long as your PS3 didn't melt. But it was definitely a step above Uncharted and definitely a really clear direction of something new happening.
Yeah, it was also, I like that where it was, yes, we can do Uncharted. You can have your little comedy bits and your action movie. We could take this more serious and take it down a dark alley. We can use that engine, but take it down a dark place. And you just suddenly think, oh, Naughty Dog can do that as well. That's, that's a way of doing it. Zombie games have been done, but we'll give you the emotional side. This is how it affects people. And then totally you think, that's a new way of doing a game. Yeah,
it was definitely a couple of echelons above Uncharted in its storytelling, and Uncharted was no way bad at all in its storytelling. In fact, it was a masterclass, especially in 2. So then you get to The Last of Us Part 1, and you think, this is definitely clear echelons above that. And it changed the needle direction-wise. It's a solid 9, maybe a 10 on PS3. Obviously, subsequent releases, I think you got to erode that down because it's not doing anything new. And then obviously Halo 1 or maybe Halo 3, but definitely Halo 1 I think would qualify for definitely a 10 out of 10. It was doing large open spaces on consoles that never been done before. Multiple, not teammates, but AI-controlled co-pilots with you along the way every now and then as well.
Yeah.
And it definitely felt new and fresh, and it definitely had a feeling when I played it, OG Xbox launch, of no one else has got anything like this. PS2 can't do this. It had that feel about it.
I mean, I only played it, as I've said on it before, I've only played it recently, in the last couple of years, and even playing it then, I played the first one I played the original on the OG Xbox, and it had that movie quality where you wanted to know what happened. You wanted to, to progress that story, you needed to play it and get through to the next level. And that's what, Halo is fantastic for that.
What game would you like to lob out there as being a 10 out of 10 with your special Barry Norman critique head on, using the same sort of metrics I've used for those games I just threw out there?
A couple come to mind, and I know people won't agree with me on this at all, but
it's your opinion. They don't have to agree. You just say it. And you're a podcaster, darling. Your opinion is valid.
I don't know about that. Streets of Rage, the original, the first one. I think.
I see what you're doing there.
It took beat 'em ups to a different place. It had fantastic music as well. Music that wanted, dance music. That if you're a teenager at the time of your Mega Drive, that was music you were probably listening to in your bedroom, and it was, it sounded fantastic. It had great sound effects. It had the same game tropes, you've got to go and rescue someone, the city's under, but it had that more realistic look, that had the city, that had the subway, and I just think they took the beat 'em up genre and went, this is what we can do. These are the tunes people want to listen to. These are the characters people want.
Would you not say that 2 was a 10 out of 10 and maybe 1 was... Or did 1 push the needle enough where 2 just rode on its coattails? Because to me, I feel like 2 did the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
You're entitled to your opinion.
Yeah,
by the way.
people will always say 2's the better game. If I pick the 3 Streets of Rage games on my shelf, well, 4 now, but I mean, think of the era, the 3 Streets of Rage, I always go to Streets of Rage 1. Because that's the memories I have. Yes, I do every time. Because that's the memories I have. I know why people say Streets of Rage 2, but Streets of Rage 1 is my game. Because that's
I played them the other way around. 2 was the first Streets of Rage game I ever played.
Well then maybe my opinion would have been different, I think. But I still remember I had a Master System. I got a Mega Drive. My friend said to me, do you want to come round? I've got a beat-em-up game to play. And at the time, I didn't even know really what a beat-em-up meant. And I went, I can still see it as clear as day in my mind. On his little desk in his corner, he had his Mega Drive and the music was playing. And I went, just start that again. So he started the game again. Then you got that title sequence, that music. And I just thought, this is like a film. This is unbelievable. And then we sat there and played it, went home and went, can I have some pocket money? I need to buy Streets of Rage game, and saved up, bought it, loved it.
What, for the Master System?
No. I bought the Mega Drive. I then just got a Mega Drive after the Master System, so I got the Mega Drive. Although the Master System version is still very good, but
It really it's great on Game Gear as well.
yeah,
BTW.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, there's that, and I think you'll probably know what I'm going to say. I've mentioned it 100 times. You're probably all bored of hearing it, but my other game I think is 10 out of 10 is Stardew Valley.
Oh, honestly, mate, I thought you were going to say sociable soccer, and I was literally going to rip your throat out.
No, that's not a 10
It's
out of
your
10
opinion.
game.
You're entitled to it. But
Yeah,
sociable soccer, you've been
no.
wrong.
Stardew Valley.
I can get behind. I can get behind that.
Stardew Valley, just for the completeness of the game, because it has everything. It has a story, as emotional as lives. I know it is a love letter to Harvest Moon, but it's took what Harvest Moon has done and just expanded everything.
It hasn't, though. Have you
It
played
has
that PS1?
why they expanded it.
When you've played it, come and talk to me.
Every little bit that Harvest Moon done, which is brilliant, and they started a genre. Every little bit they done, you can do more of that one little individual thing on Stardew. It's expanded that whole world to almost make it endless sandbox, and I love the game. I think it's brilliant.
So there are your two submissions.
Yes, I mean, you talked about Uncharted. You know I love Uncharted. Last of Us. You know I love Last of Us. I'm wearing Last of Us hat, but I mean for the visual viewers. So yeah, I think they're very close. But I think if I look to two certain games, I think for their genres or what they done and what they introduced, and also you've got to think of Stardew with the constant free updates over 10 years. Constantly uploading this game, and they're still doing updates now, and it just expands the game, and everyone has a different experience, everyone has a different farm, whereas story games you all sort of play for the same story and talk about it, all your lives are different on here. Yeah, I just think it's brilliant. I mean, my wife's on the bug. She's paid 200 hours plus on Stardew. Meerkat76, who's on our Discord, is a friend of mine. She's pushing 600 hours now and is going for the platinum. And still loves this game and tries to play it as much as she can. You just think, how many games can do that? How many games can say that?
There's not many.
No. So that's why
I would say you could probably count them on your hand.
Yeah, and hence why I put that in there. And I've started 5-6 different farms. I've probably put 300 hours into it.
Lightweight.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a noob. But yeah, but yeah, love it, brilliant. And you always find new stuff out. There's always stuff you didn't know. There's always stuff that you'll think, oh, I didn't see that before. Look up and think, oh, there's a whole new place there behind that tree. I didn't realise there was. You can go again and find something else in a new island, and yeah, superb.
One last note, I've been thinking recently about games of a generation, and I had these conversations with myself as I'm driving, and I did think that I'd like to award Death Stranding a 10. I just think that for me moved the needle. It was so well done.
And there was no genre that stuck to. Kojima went, this is the game I'm making, and it doesn't fit in any genre, and away you go.
There's some elements in it when you get a little bit further, when you're doing the stealth and things, where it does, it reeks of Metal Gear at times, and it's like, oh God, let me just deliver the parcels, dude. But, for the most part, the seamless integration of the music, the way that kicks in at the right times with the right emotional weight as well. The storytelling is bold, it's big, it's bombastic. The scale of the levels is huge. The detail in the levels is massive. The story is all over the place, but at the same time just pulls you in the right direction. And by the end of it, you've actually made sense of what's in front of you, kind of. I'm very excited for the sequel, by the way. I just don't think that comes soon enough. And I was reading that they're saying how the sequel's going to kind of, I don't know whether this is ever a good thing, but it's definitely going to subvert expectations of what the game's going to be and what it's going to do. So, I hear all this sort of hyperbole. And I'm very excited for that. I'm hoping, obviously, because Death Stranding 1 has already trodden 80% of the street, I couldn't ever give Death Stranding 2 a 10 out of 10. But I think the first game, especially now retrospectively as I think about it more, I think I've hailed it as my game of the generation a couple of times, but I definitely put it up on that pedestal. Is there anything PS4 wise that you would want to award a celebratory
Ooh.
10 out of 10 to? Was there anything within that pile of games that moved the needle so far for you that were like, yeah, this is something else?
I mean, me and you both bought and played a lot of games on that generation.
Yeah.
And how from a sort of a not as much a rocky start, but a lot of people saying the hardware weren't quite there and it wasn't as big a jump, ended up being, in my opinion, one of the greatest gaming generations ever. I think the amount of games we had in that generation,
High
especially on the
quality
PS4,
games,
yeah,
needle pushing, genre defining games that
yeah,
I don't think that we've seen an era quite like that since maybe the PS2.
no, you're right, and yeah, it was fantastic, and there was a lot of games I played, a lot of games I put hours in. 10 out of 10s. I mean, Uncharted 4 for me was absolutely superb. Could I go as far as a 10 out of 10? I'd be close for me personally. I absolutely loved that game. Played through it 2 or 3 times. Graphically, looks superb.
But in
Nolan
what
North was
way did it
always just
push the
brilliant.
needle?
Yeah, I always think with the Uncharted games, yes, number 2 is probably my favourite, I think. But I
So
think,
good, mate. So
but
good too.
but you can see if you go back to number 1, you can see, or even Golden Abyss. I know it's on the Vita, but you can see where they've almost like Stardew Valley did with Harvest Moon. Each little bit is they've expanded it that bit more. So by the time you get to Uncharted 4, it's like this massive cinematic experience. Desert islands, you go to Scotland, you're driving boats, you fight, they take you all over the place. And I think it was just that climax to the story as well. They continued on. So I think Uncharted 4 would be mighty close. What else? I'm trying to think what else I played and put a lot of time in. There was games I put a lot of hours in, like The Crew. No, it's not a 10 out of 10 game. They did different things. I mean, having you team up with your mates and cruising around in a crew and playing the game story mode together was good, and having the whole map of America on was good. But yeah, I can't think. What about you? PS4, what would you say? 10 out of 10s?
Yeah, Death Stranding. I think that might be where it starts and stops. Like I say, with my provision of the rules that I put in place, did it move the needle? Like I feel like my sort of 10 out of 10 for Last of Us on PS3, specifically only PS3, is a little edgy. Did it move the needle? I think that it did, but I can imagine a lot of people would say, well, hang on a minute, that's a bit strong.
Yeah.
But for me, it was a needle mover, much as Halo 1 was a needle mover, much as maybe Metropolis Street Racer on the Dreamcast was a needle mover, because it did something that you've never really seen before. Like
Yeah, I think you have to look at the game and think, has there been a game like this come previously? If there was, did it do it anywhere as good as this game?
No.
And that's when I think you have to say, and you look at Last of Us, yes, there's been zombie games. Have they played like that? No. Have they played it out in a really emotional story with great actors? No. So then you start thinking, oh, this is probably out there on its own, which to me is definitely a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. If you're listening now and you want to chime in, you let us know either on the emails at unofficialcontrollerpodcast.com, questions at unofficialcontrollerpodcast.com, or you can join our Discord, where you can join the conversation, where no doubt there's a bevy of people right now listing off their 10 out of 10 genre-defining games. Or you can message us by DM on Instagram, Twitter, all that thing called Blue Sky. Call it Twitter. I think all the cool kids are calling it X. I think that's the limit of our socials, RGT. So if you want to get in contact with us, feel free to reach out with the DM. If you want to get involved deeper in the conversation and with the community, I'd recommend you join Discord. Navigate to any of the socials or even the episode you're listening to. Scroll down, and there should be a little link tree there. Take you to all the places where you can continue the fun when you finish listening to this episode. Don't panic. It's all free and will continue to be free, as is this show. But if you did want to support us, and tell you what, we're blown away by the support that we get. There are tiers of support that we're not going to bore you with, but one of those tiers means that you get read out on every show. And it's time for us to pay our dues, RGT. I do believe, I feel
Although,
like
I will just mention, sorry to jump in, we have tweaked the tiers.
we have tweaked the tiers. They've only got better for you guys.
So we thought we'd make it a bit more. So you get a bit more at the lower tiers, and you get a bit more at the higher tiers. So it's more for you guys, really, just to show that we appreciate you. And also, it gets the lower tiers more involved. That was the idea as well. So we can get you, as far as Young Glorious Chat, as far as the Zoom meetups. Let's get you all involved. Let's all do that together. All right. So, did you want me to just quickly read out the new tiers?
You are the social guru, community hero.
That's a bold title to give me.
When the UCP is dead and buried 2,000 years from now, they won't remember me. They won't remember the UCP, but I'll tell you who they will remember. That steaming slab of beef, RGT.
Steaming slab of beef.
I don't know if that's a compliment, but it was meant to be.
That's just actually made me a bit hungry, if I'm honest. So
I'm also very hungry.
Yeah.
So you go first, then. Oh no, you want to do the tiers? All right.
I'll just we aren't going to continue to keep reading the tiers out. If anyone wants to know, just let us know in Discord, and I can reprint them. They're in the Unglorious. You can have a check, but I'll read them out now just because we've changed them. But then we'll settle down on those. But anyway, $3 tier is now read out on every show, access to Unglorious Chat, and the quarterly Zoom meetup.
May I add as well, due to the international nature of this show, obviously they're on a little rest at the moment, but we've got American co-hosts. Because of the way the show is put out and handled, everything is in dollars. So if you're listening in the UK and you think $3, don't worry, mate. That's £1.25.
Yes, yeah.
Even $10 is only £7.
Yes, yeah. It's just the way that we're with our podcast providers, bits and pieces. That's the way it's done in dollars. But anyway, $3 read out on every show. Access to the Unglorious Chat, which is our little extra chat room, which now has all subscribers in, and quarterly Zoom meetup. That's our meetup we do every 3-4 months. Now, all of you can come on that. $5 read out on every show. Access to Unglorious Chat, quarterly Zoom meetup, and a small item of yearly art merch. Now, when we do our yearly art merch, we change it. Pretty much every 12 to 14 months, you'll get a little piece of merchandise for that. $8.
And mate, can I just say,
yes,
we've got next is going to blow your socks off.
Yes.
So if you haven't got a sub in for this next piece of album art, now's the time. If you've lapsed, and I have no beef with anyone who's lapsed, so as the show's free, I always ask you what the hell are you doing supporting the show in the first place. But let me tell you, if you've lapsed, that's all cool. But let me tell you now, I sound like a QVC person. You are going to want to get yourself front and center, because this is possibly the best album art we have ever released. And you're going to want this on a t-shirt. You're going to want it on a mug. You're going to want it tattooed on your main vein.
Just steady fella.
I realise what main vein is.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll save you there. Yeah. Anyway, no, we've had a sneak peek today, and it is absolutely superb. So, yeah, keep watching for that. But anyway, $8 read out in every show, access to Unglorious Chat, quarterly Zoom meetup, a small item of yearly art merch, and then you'll also get a yearly art merch mug with the new artwork painted on or printed on, however they do it. It's going to look good on a mug. This.
Oh, mate, I
can't wait for this.
BTW. When you do the merch run, please put an extra one down for me.
Oh, I will do. Don't worry.
I have no UCP merch.
No, I don't. Well, apart from my t-shirts, you have t-shirts.
They're crew shirts, though.
Okay. Oh, I like the word crew shirts. Ooh, yeah. $10 read out on every show, access to Unglorious Chat, quarterly Zoom meetup, a small item of yearly art merch mug, and plus the Pierre de Resistance is a yearly art merch t-shirt, and I'm not overplaying it. This is going to look superb on a t-shirt. This is going to look superb.
Get excited. If you're listening now and you've never supported us in any way, that's cool. But if you want to grab what's going to be the hottest piece of merch this side of Merchville, you better get on board. It's definitely the best piece of artwork we've ever put out. It's definitely got that nod to nostalgia. It's definitely got the fun factor. it's definitely something that's going to look absolutely awesome on a mug, a t-shirt, fridge magnet, whatever the hell, wherever the hell you want it, you're going to want this. So we're super excited. A good friend of the show is helping us with that. And we're going to probably reveal a little bit more as we go over the next couple of weeks. But we are super excited to present it to you. I'm giddy at it. I can't believe it. The more I look at it, the more I just smile. So I'm stoked. So if ever there was a time, now's the time. If you fell off for whatever reason, we know times are tight, and you just want to get back in at the early level. What's the earliest level you get a bit of art merch? Is it literally $3?
Let me just look again. Yeah, $5. You get a small item of yearly art merch at $5.
So that'll be what the equivalent of like a fridge magnet historically.
Yeah, we've done fridge magnets. We can do small wall. There'll be.
I think the fridge magnets are kind of cool. They can go anywhere, right?
They're nice, aren't they? Yeah, and we've got the different ones.
They are printed onto wood.
Yeah.
What's the company called, RGT, that makes them?
It's a local company to me called the Wooden Postcard Company, and they have licenses from all sorts of things, from movies to artwork. They provide them to Scottish museums, British museums. They print all their artwork off and supply them. They do, like I say, wooden postcards, wooden wall art, but they make these magnets for us, and little fridge magnets, and they're superb.
They're beautiful.
Really are good. But yeah, check out Wooden Postcard Company because they're very good, and a little locally run, family run business.
We do try to source locally where we can.
Yeah, definitely.
The local for the art merch, physical, the wooden postcard or the fridge magnet, and then we use a Farmerton/Lincolnshire-based company for t-shirts.
Yes, we do. Yeah,
which has been good find by you there, RGT, because the quality of the shirts and the printing is second to none. That last run we did for Ceenox and a few others of the Pastor Longhorn recording cupboard was phenomenal. But let me tell you, if you thought
brilliant
that was
t-shirts.
good, what we've got coming is light years ahead of it. So I'm so excited. It's probably some of the most exciting news that we've had in a long time.
Yes.
We've wet everyone's whistle.
Yes.
We need to pay our dues, RGT. Do you want to begin?
I certainly can. So we'll start on the list with Ceenox from Sweden. Thank you very much, Ceenox.
Thank you to Ceenox for everything that you do. I get Carlos, the one man George fan club. Like I say, my ego demands we play it cool. Carlos came along. He fulfilled that. He's a wonderful man. In fact, I believe he smells exactly like a strawberry.
Definitely.
Who's next?
I will just say as well, sorry we haven't put no dates on for the next Zoom meeting because we've been a bit waylaid behind the scenes with new art merch and bits and pieces, but I will try and do that this week. And plus, if you hear us read these names, quite a few of these guys jump on. Quite a few of these guys jump on when we have these on the Zoom chats.
You can't do the Zoom chat this weekend because I won't be able to do that.
No, nor can I. It won't be this weekend. But I will put on dates this week
because I'm determined to attend this one.
Yeah, I don't think we're due till sort of start of March, middle of March, so we'll do it then. But anyway, sorry. So if you're interested in that and you do sub, quite a few of these people will join up, so you'll meet them as well. So you hear their names every week and you'll have a chat with them, see their collections, and it's very varied and it's great fun. But anyway, next up we have Firm Returns. Thank you very much indeed.
Beautiful human, which means I get Trestles, New York. We did an episode there live in New York, and they continue to support us to this day. Next, we have the wonderful Bada Binkster, who has everybody stand up, sir.
He has reminded me this week that he said, he'd done me the artwork for the latest Hidden Gem. Then I've remembered that I'm about 6 hidden gems behind on the Discord. So I do apologise to everyone. That had gone completely out of my mind. I haven't done it for ages. But bless him, he always does our artwork for it. It looks superb. He does the cases. He puts like recommended by RGT on it. It looks really good. I will get them up to date as I go through, so I will get them back up.
That's your first official verbal warning.
But just a thank you to Bada Binkster. Really appreciate all your little artwork and bits you do, mate.
Thank you to everyone in the community. You all help us, not just financially, but in ways beyond our expectations. So we're very grateful to you. Which means I get Tingle Tuna. He apparently really quite liked his personalised readout last week, where I basically got him to sit his missus down and preached his amazing skills. I've got a new one for you this week, Tingle Tuna. Bring in Mrs. Tuna, sit down. Go. I just want to confirm that the stickers on the games that he brings back were their original RRP. These games are decades old at this point. You know, they're 50p, 25p. He's helping out charity shops by picking these things up. He showed me some games the other day. They were brand new out, right? But somehow we had found them in a charity shop for between 20 and 50p. I'll be honest with you, it would be a crime for him not to continue picking these up and hiding them around the house.
Yeah.
He's hiding them because he sees it as an investment. And he doesn't want you to know how much he's squirreling away.
Ooh, that was a tough one. Squirreling. Yeah, I'm not even going to try that.
Don't do it.
No, squirreling.
Squirreling.
Squirreling. No one too bad.
If I went at it with aggression, but because I was nervous and I was picking between my words,
You mean squirreling?
I squirrel him.
You squirrel him. Right, next up we have the wonderful Digital Monkery.
He's never said anything about me living in his beard.
No. I'm not surprised. I mean, it's probably weirded him out a bit.
I'm disappointed, to be honest.
I knew you would be,
made myself the same size as a lice.
Yeah, weird. Another one who does a lot for the community, does our challenge accepted, does our screenshots competitions, and plus also he's got a really good YouTube channel. Check out his YouTube. He's just done a recent trip where he's been to sort of West Midlands, and he's picked up some awesome games. Check his collection out. But yeah, check out Digital Monkery on YouTube.
Which means I get the legendary, handsome as hell, gaming guru, got his name amongst the stars. He's the South's best kept secret. I think he's from the South.
Yes, he's Southampton way.
He's the North and the South's best kept secret. It's the Gaming Gram. Thank you, sir.
And congratulations on your new job. I hope it's going well for you.
Yes.
Next up, we have the wonderful Bald Border.
Which means I get...
There we go.
Go, Bran. Boba Loba.
I love that accent. Go, Bran.
Go, Bran.
Ain't Bran, it's Bran.
Bran.
All Bran.
All Bran. Bran, all Bran.
Next up, I have the biggest guns in Nottingham. He was very pleased that we'd speak about his guns quite a lot. And when I mean guns, I mean biceps. That is your red-headed stepson, Ginge.
Oh, there's been a change, sure. More casualties. Okay, fine. That's so cool. Watch them come back, though, when they get a sniff of it. I almost want to put a deadline. If you're not subbed or back on by now, you ain't getting it.
You're mean.
You ain't getting it.
Come on, next up. Come on, Sam.
Just so Ginge knows I love you, son. And that means I get the Lord of Darkness, show's close friend. It's Harvey Retro.
Lord of Darkness. Next up, we have the wonderful Emma Sharp. Thank you very much, Emma.
Now, when I was young, I had a soft spot for Violet Berlin from the...
didn't we all?
From Bad Influence, and she also did Game Show TV or some drivel like that on... Was it Dave or was it It was Bravo.
Bravo.
But anyway, my fascination took me a little bit too far. And I ended up hiding out because she's married to Gaz Top in real life. If you didn't know this, it's a true
I know
story,
where this is going, geez.
Right. So I found myself in Gaz Top's boot of his car, knowing that he would take me to Violet Berlin eventually. After a week away with him, living in his boot, I was surviving from the condensation that dripped on the inside of his 318 Beamer and chewing on the foam insulation that was packed around the sliding aerial in the back there. We eventually arrived at his home, where I immediately made myself available, popped out the boot, but I'd lost weight during that week, so my clothes fell off. I thought it might be a good icebreaker with Violet, but it transpired it wasn't. So, therefore, I ended up with a restraining order. So I was allowed nowhere near Berlin.
That was, if it's the first time you're listening to the show, I'm sorry.
People ask for something special.
Mm.
I don't know if he ever asked or whether we just did it. I think we just did it. Well,
Yeah.
Scotty did it.
I think Scotty started it, bless him.
But now I feel committed to continuing it. Who's next?
They're getting quite elaborate. Next up, we have Mumsy. Thanks, Mumsy.
Which means I get the privilege of saying the RGT fan club.
Best fan club ever. Thank you very much. So I get Pete Brocklehurst. Thank you
The only
very
man
much,
that
Pete.
could knee a breeze block.
Yeah.
He plays keepy uppies for breeze blocks, that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Which means I get, love him or hate him, Billy Marmite. If your name's being read out and you're not in Discord, you are missing out on some of your perks, by the way. So I do encourage you to further develop that.
Yeah, definitely.
It's all there waiting for you, so it makes sense to come and hoover it up. So I'd like to see Billy Marmite.
I mean, even if you're not really into that sort of social side, there's also other stuff on there. Like people are always swapping and buying games and bits and pieces, so you might end up.
Don't forget the download section where you can get all the music from the Christmas movie. You can get all the artwork we've ever done to this point.
Yeah,
so there's a place to go and choose something that you want on a T-shirt. There's,
very true.
There's mobile wallpapers. There's all sorts, right? So there's plenty for your zero entry. You can join the Discord and not even sub and still get access to the vast majority of that. So please do.
Yeah,
What's
definitely.
next?
Next, we have Simon Pride. Thank you again for your continued support, Simon. I know you're a very hard-working young man, and I really appreciate it. So thank you, Simon.
Which means I get the luxury.
Here we go.
Of climaxing. This was his requirement.
Well, I don't know if the requirement was for you to climax, but
he said to say it in a sexual way.
Yeah. That might be a different thing. But anyway, away you go. If that's how you get to the way of doing it, then
it takes a couple of strokes. I'm not machine, you know. Just give me a minute. Okay, here we go.
I'm so sorry about this.
Keeping the blood in it. Boom. It was nasty. It was quick. It kind of sprung up on me out of nowhere. That did. It was like, it was coming, but I didn't want it. But at the same time, I kind of knew I was contractually obliged to do it.
Anyway, thanks everyone on the list.
Part of what I said there was outrageous. Was any of that outrageous?
I'm not even commenting on it. So
we haven't been pulled up by the podcast provider or YouTube yet. So I feel it fits safely within the boundaries of PG.
Yeah, I would say you're bordering PG, if maybe just stepping a toe over. But yeah, fair enough.
What's the point of having rules if you don't push into the limit?
Well, that is very true.
Right. So I guess at this point, and thank you to everybody. I know we muck about, but we only do that because we think that's what you want. Some of you have ordered us to do that. So if you want a super straight readout, you let us know.
Yeah.
I suppose the only thing left on the table after my rather vicious explosion is what you hoping to play there, me old RGT.
It'll be LEGO City Undercover. And I still haven't played my new Evercade games. I had another 2 Evercade games turn up this week.
Send them to me on message or whatever technological thing you sent them on me. That just Evercade filth. I'm surrounded by it.
But then you're so intrigued when I get a new game.
I know I am.
Doth protest too much.
Maybe for Christmas you could get me an Evercade.
Oh yeah. No worries. Yeah. What do you want? Handheld console?
Yeah, no. I want the handheld. I've thought about this with the Evercade. I don't want another system under the telly. Frankly, no. But if you got me the handheld, I think I could get into that. Does that play all the games though? Is it the same as the desktop version?
Yeah. You've got the handhelds, which is 2 versions. You've got the home console, 2 versions.
Oh, so get me the best home version of the handheld then, please.
Yeah, and you've got an arcade machine, which is the alpha.
Yeah.
And you've got Whichever one I was going to say. Oh yeah, and you've got the super retros, which are under a different name, but they come packed in with like Capcom games and stuff. They play the cartridges as
No,
well.
I don't want any of that. I want the handheld.
Yeah, well, that is a handheld, but a sort of Game Boy.
No, I don't want
variant.
that. I want the Evercade handheld.
Okay,
The better one of the two as well. Don't try and skank.
You want the Versus R with tape mode built into it, so you can turn it the other way up and play your vertical shooters. Yeah, you get a little grip for it, double grip.
What games are you going to get me?
Looks like a cow's udder. Um, I don't know what games do you like, because you get many games. You know, some of the collections have up to sort of 10, 14 games on. So,
well, I'll take the Soul Reaver one that you just got.
Yeah,
and then I'll raise you. They've got a Bitmap Bros one, haven't they?
I think so.
That?
No, I
thought
think
they did.
I mean, there's like 70 cartridges out there, so there's a lot of games out there.
I'm sure when I last looked, there was a Bitmap Bros one on there, because that would probably have like Speedball 2, Xenon 2. Yeah, that's what I'd like.
Yeah, okay, leave it with me then. I'll start saving.
Very good.
Yeah.
What would you like for Christmas?
Just your love.
There's more chance of me getting an Evercade.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm not a demanded child that just wants the most expensive thing. Just attention and a cuddle would do, but there you go. That ain't going to happen.
Are you saying the Evercade's the most expensive thing? Because if you want, I could up it. I mean, I'm also looking for a Steam Deck.
And you're saying for Christmas, and we're in February.
Well, I'm giving you time.
Oh, thanks.
10 months. Well, 9 now, really.
Great. Let me just get back, because this is going to cost me too much money. I'll get back to what I'm
just like 50 quid away a month. I think you should be golden.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no worries. You're almost saying disgusted that it's only 50. You've changed.
I expected more. Well, I told you I'm leaning into this heel persona now.
The jaded George, eh?
Jaded George. Everyone wanted Jaded George. That's what they got.
Yeah, great. Thanks, community. I've got to deal with this. Yeah,
so have to live with it.
Yeah, you don't know what I do.
Why do you get to sit in the light and I have to sit in the dark? Is this to sort of symbolise a visual metaphor for my evilness and your kindness?
We've said the UCP funds can only afford one light bulb at a time. It's my month to have it. You can have the light bulb next month. I'll post it to you. I
always seem to be sat in the dark.
Yeah.
Although it's angling in with my beard, it's making me look super chiseled. Although, no doubt, if this is blown up on YouTube, I look an absolute. I hate YouTube. Up yours, YouTube.
Yeah, it does stretch you a little bit, doesn't it?
250 so many episodes were performed naked. Now I have to put clothes on to record.
Mascara, a lot.
Yeah, angle me beard, fade my eyebrow in, all that. Whatever cool kids do.
But anyway, yeah, I need to get back my Evercade. So I got the Legacy of Kain collection. I got that, so I want to get into that and play that. Should be playing some Evercade this Saturday night when I've got a friend come round. So we're going to set light into a few of those and a few beers. So I don't know if I'll remember many of the games, but we will have a good go. Probably not. But what about you? What are you hoping to play, George?
Like I say, I'm still pursuing Valhalla. I've been kicking the Switch around again lately, but I've just been playing the Dicky games on there. Wrestle Empire, I didn't bring it up at the top end for that reason. I did go in the sale, though, not mention this out loud, and I picked up the Dooms. So I got Doom 1 and 2, Doom 3, Doom N64, Doom Eternal.
Nice. What, is it a lot of complete package or individuals?
No, I was scrolling through the store and they had them all on there. And, obviously the home computing 286 versions, 1 and 2, they were like $1.99 for the package. Doom 3.
Spend a tenner, get a lot,
Yeah, exactly. It was that. It was spend the tenner and get everything bar Eternal, which was another, at the time in the sale, I think it was roughly like $6.29, $6.99, something like that.
Ain't a lot, is it really? Not a lot.
And I was like, right, you've gone 90% of the way.
Yeah, you've overdoomed.
I've overdoomed, but the one above that, the latest one, or the penultimate one, whichever was last on Switch, it was still the proper books, and I was like, no, on Switch you're gonna have to wait because I'm pushing it with Doom. Is it Doom or Doom Eternal? I think I'm pushing it with that.
Yeah,
it's hailed as a great port, but my God,
yeah.
So I picked up those. I picked up a few bits in the sale. I think I got Need for Speed
Rivals.
The black, it's got a mainly black case. Yeah, it might be Rivals with an orange car on the front. There's one that got ported to the Switch anyway. It's one where you kind of get like a whole city or something to prowl around. It's very much like Burnout Paradise, which I've also got on the Switch, which is great. I had that on. Did I have that on the Vita? I think I did, and it was great on there. It might have been that or Need for Speed. I can't. So I've obviously.
They had Payback. No, not Payback. Rivals, I think, on the Vita, didn't they? I believe. I can't remember.
No, I can't. And I'm pretty sure it's Burnout Paradise that I've got on there.
You've made some good purchases on your Switch then.
Oh, mate, I was looking at it the other day. At some point in time last year, updated the. Are you okay?
No, I'm just laughing because I keep thinking you've probably filled your card up and you're gonna have to buy a new memory card.
Well, I bought a 1 terabyte card.
Ooh.
Last summer, I think it was.
You hadn't filled that.
I'm now back.
My God, what, on a Switch?
Yeah.
Oh.
But what I love about that is like that tiny wafer thin.
Oh, you will have so many games on there.
Has so many games on.
Yeah.
That I'm still carrying it around in this little carry case with a load of the carts, sort of in the card holder in the little carry case. And I think to myself, why have I got them in there?
I mean, in one way, you've done a great job because you buy on sales, you filled this 1 terabyte up with games. You can go on holiday not worrying about losing your cards, your little game.
Yeah,
cartridges.
You're right, because I tell you what, I've got Assassin's Creed,
your Switch.
2, Brotherhood and Revelations. I've got Assassin's Creed. I've got Black Flag and Rogue. I've got BioShock 1, 2, and 3. I don't want to go too heavy because I know that some of them I've got the card for and I can't quite remember. But I've got obviously the Dooms. I've got loads of on there.
Great selection on there just to have a pick through on holiday or when you're away for a couple of days.
Just a big solid game. And the thing is, Portal's great, but it kind of feels a little bit. I don't think it is, but it feels a little bit more fragile than the Switch. And also, the Switch is something you can pick up.
It's a bit smaller. You can chuck in a backpack.
And you get a deal. You look at your missus's Facebook Marketplace because I wouldn't go on there. And you see like Switch £60. You're like, yeah, you know what?
Yeah,
it's
true.
almost disposable at this point.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm all for that. And so we've done Valhalla. Probably going to play some more Farming Simulator tonight and over the weekend. I'm itching to kind of get back on True Crime, Streets of New York as well.
Oh yes,
I'm so positively motivated by my experience on that. Although something did click in my head. I feel like I really feel like I've played this game before.
It's weird, isn't it, when things click like that and you can't think why?
Now, I don't know whether it's got a very similar loop to True Crime Streets of LA and therefore I'm
maybe
remembering it, or whether I actually ponied up and got True Crime Streets of LA and was disappointed, then popped straight back on Rejection Pony and got myself a slice of the sequel. I don't know. Knows. Maybe. I didn't have a lot of disposable funds back then because I was a young father, but yeah, well, we'll see. I think that draws us to the end. Is there any more information you want to leave with the beloved audience before we go? Any heads up, or did we leave nothing on the table?
Just if anyone is interested in the subs and you want to know the subs list again, and you're not on Discord, I'm on Instagram and stuff. I can DM you over. Just DM me, and I'll DM you over a tiers list if you're interested. If you haven't seen them or got it on your podcast provider, just let me know.
And if you're sat in the background and you've waited this whole time to get involved or talk on the Discord or even sub to us, now is the time. And for $3, which is the equivalent of like £1.80 a month, which I'll be honest, you blow on tat. You know you do. And you've probably got that money down the back of the sofa. Don't leave us hanging. If you're thinking about it, kick every objection out the way and come join the family. Because that is what it's like.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Well, on that rather profound note, that's all we have time for this week. Listeners, always thank you for your time. We look forward to the pleasure of speaking to you again next week. Until then, happy gaming. Remember, there's nothing wrong with being given an official controller. It's what you do with it that counts. See you, RGT.
Later.